The Mach E California Route 1 is the electric you want to look at if you've got some range anxiety. It's got 502 max kilometer range, or 312 miles, which is pretty amazing. The California Route 1 in behind me here has pretty much every available option on top of that. It's in the star white exterior, it's got the interior protection package, but outside of that, there aren't really many other things you can add on to the California Route 1. It's packed ride as it is. Charging inside of the Cali Route 1 is the exact same way as the rest of the Mach E lineup. So just along the driver's side, there's a little pony along the top, horsepower badge in the middle. It's got support for level 1 and level 2, plus DC supercharging. And it's also got the little charge indicator light, letting you know how full the battery is as you go. Didn't mention the range inside of this thing. The Cali Route 1 specifically is where you're going to get the most range out of the Mach E. 502 kilometers, 312 miles, which is pretty respectable. Charge times on the Mach E are all over the place. It's going to depend on, are you level 1 or level 2 charging? Do you have the standard range, the extended range, rear-wheel drive versus all-wheel drive? But general rule of thumb, with level 2 charging, you're going to be roughly 10.9-ish to about 15 hours. And that jumps up to about 95 hours if you need to fully charge just based off of level 1. So if this thing is your daily driver, you're putting on like 50, 100 kilometers a day, it might be worth looking at the home charge station. But from the factory, it does include a charge cable that's 20 feet, and it's got support for both level 1 and level 2 charging. So this Mach E is strictly the E all-wheel drive system. If you wanted rear wheel, you're gonna have to drop down to one of the other trim levels, unfortunately. Nice glossy highlight follows through the bottom part of the body. It's on the mirror caps, and then there's the side view mounted cameras, the backup camera, and front facing camera for that full 360 view. On top of the 360 camera, this thing does also have the forward sensing system. But one thing that still hasn't found its way back to the Mach E as of yet is the park assist feature. Hopefully. I mean, all the basic components are there. You've got the sensing systems, the cameras and things like that. So unfortunately, it's not back as of yet. So I'm like, fingers crossed, hopefully Ford brings it back for 2024. Unsure as of yet though. But similar to the rest of the Mach E lineup, you are looking at LED headlamps there, and then just nice body styling overall. Nice like black highlight around the middle of the grille. And then there's the Mustang right in the very middle set, galloping pony, which looks great. Getting into the front of the vehicle is straightforward. So there's a little release you're gonna pull twice. And once you do, and you've got the front of the Mach E, and there's not really much underneath the front, like the hood here. It's actually pretty simple. There's a little release up along the side just in case somebody small gets stuck under here. And then really one of the only things you have to worry about inside of an electric for maintenance, which is your fluid. So just if you need to top up windshield wiper fluid. Just because you don't have to do as much maintenance, you still do have to maintain it. So there still is regularly scheduled maintenance. So you want to make sure you're maintaining your manufacturer's warranty. In the Ford world, you've got 3-year, 36,000 mile or 60,000 kilometer coverage for basic. Powertrain is 60,000 mile or 100,000 kilometers. And then there's hybrid electric components for 8-year, 100,000 mile or 160,000 kilometers. Just make sure you're maintaining your ride either way. The rear bumper has the same glossy highlight that you're going to find along the rest of the body of the Mach E, and that follows through the sequential LED tail lamps back here on top of that. Now, the Cali Route 1, I said pretty much every available piece of technology. You're going to have the backup camera, rear wiper as well. There's also a little Cali Route 1 badge along the bottom right side, which looks pretty nice. One thing it doesn't have though is a foot activated liftgate. That hasn't been in the Mach E for a little bit, unfortunately, but getting into the cargo area of the vehicle, just going to push in order to open up. And you've got the cargo area of the Mach E, which has a lot of usable space, which is great. Nothing off to the left-hand side. Off to the right, there's a 12-volt power point with a little light. But lifting this thing up, you do have the inflator kit off to the left-hand side, and then the charge cable that you're gonna get from the factory. If for whatever reason you ever pop a tire, have a flat, and you need winching services, or if your electric's died, you could call Ford roadside assistance, which is good for the powertrain of the vehicle warranty. So you're looking at 5-year, 100,000 kilometers, or 60,000 miles for Ford roadside assistance, which is great. Folding down the second row seats is straightforward. So I can reach it from the back, but if you're a little vertically challenged, Popping into the second row. There's a release there. You're just going to pull and drop down. And when you've got the second row seat down, I mean, it just opens things up so nicely. Gives you a boatload of space, which is great. Taking a peek at the key fob for the Mach E. So, unchanged from the 2022 to the 2023 model. You've got the little pony along the back. Front side of the fob, you've got the unlock button, lock button, trunk release, horn or panic alarm, and then this thing technically has a release for the emergency access key, but it's blank and it really does nothing. But this thing, you can't actually remote start directly from the fob. You've got to use the Ford Pass app. But one thing you can do from the fob is roll down the windows. So all you have to do is press the unlock button twice, and on the second button press, you're going to hold. So you're going to go 1, 2, and hold. Down they go. You can press the lock button to pause it part way, and then just press twice again in order to get the process going again. And then rolling the windows back up, you press the lock button twice, and on the second button press, you're going to hold. There you go, and same idea, you can unlock it if you wanted to stop it part way, and then you can also just press the lock button again twice in order to get it going again. So with the side view mirrors, there are lights along the back there. Blind spot system, so if somebody's entered the blind spot on either side of the vehicle, that's going to highlight and let you know. The mirrors are heated and they're also power folding. You've got your 5-digit factory number, so you could enter in your 5-digit number if you wanted to get into the vehicle. If you push the bottom 2 along the bottom there, that's going to lock the door. But one thing is that if your key fob's inside and you go to lock, it actually locks your fob inside, so you need to enter that 5-digit number or unlock in the Ford Pass app instead. But, nice, hopping inside. Oh yeah, we'll get in the inside in a minute, but you've got this nice metallic highlight that runs all the way through. Unlock and lock buttons with driver's seat memory. So it's very straightforward there. So you could actually set up your driver's seat, side view mirror the way that you want to, and then just press and hold either 1, 2, or 3 for it to remember your own personal profile. You've got the button for power folding side view mirrors. This one is going to either lock the doors or the windows. So the second doors are going to essentially be locked. You can control your side view mirrors. Basic window control. You got your unlock in order to get out of the vehicle. There, a little bit of door storage. And you've got this nice Mustang scuff plate. Front release, I guess I should say. Series of other controls, Sir Max windshield defroster. Figure out what's going on with your running lamps. Increase or decrease the brightness of the little cluster screen. And then you can toggle traction control on or off. The interior of the Cali Route 1 is nice, and it's only got the black interior that you're looking at here. So no options for the lighter one, unfortunately, but still nice. I love the seats though. So the seat comfort, definitely there. It's really, really nice. Two-way adjustable headrest, so it can't go forwards, backwards. It's strictly going to go up and down. But you will find power adjustable seats inside of this thing. And with the seat as far down, so ridiculous, and as far back as it's going to go, up overhead, I've got like 6 inches of headspace, like 6+ inches. So if you're taller, you're not going to have an issue sitting inside of the Mach E whatsoever. It's actually kind of ridiculous, but amazing all at the same time. All right. Nice, simple start up there. This is good. Now, steering wheel inside of the Mach E. Nice, comfortable. Heated all the way around, and you can turn the heated steering wheel on just right there. But if you want a full walkthrough, like you want to know how to use the steering buttons, go through the cluster screen, the Sync 4 media screen, you'll find those walkthroughs down in the description of this video. But a few basic highlights. The steering wheel inside of the Mach E is going to be manual telescoping. These are the controls for the adaptive cruise system. All of these buttons, well, most of these buttons to go through the little cluster screen, change songs, radio stations, answer or hang up on a phone call, things like that. This side to flash out high beams, this one to control your front, and then your rear windshield wipers on top of that. Straightforward. Now these, well, this little guy right there, so that's Ford's Blue Cruise system. So there's cameras there that are going to watch your eyes as you drive, making sure you're not dozing away, so using the hands-free Blue Cruise system. But I mean, I love all the highlights here. This nice highlight, nice texturized feel there, and that wraps through the dash along the passenger side. Nice stitching along the side there. Glove box with a nice amount of storage space as well. You are going to be push button start inside of the Mach E, regardless of which trim level of the vehicle that you're in. And this is the Sync 4, technically Sync 4A media screen that you're going to find inside of the Mach E. But if you want a full walkthrough, like you want to know how to use everything, you'll find that walkthrough in the description. But this thing does have factory nav. And even if you don't want to use factory nav, you can hook up through Android or iPhone devices to, well, on Google devices, you can use strictly just Google Maps. But on Apple, you can use Google Maps, Apple Maps, or Waze all through this middle screen. So factory nav is nice and responsive. You've got options for phones. You can connect over Bluetooth or Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You can connect wirelessly, but you can also use the USB ports there to connect wired instead for both of them. There's entertainment sources, so you'd be able to look at Sudoku, cool, parking lots, and a number of other apps. Different options for charging, which are kind of neat. So the charging, there are really two big ones, and that's either departure and comfort or charging locations. So departure and comfort is when you're plugged in, you're essentially going to precondition the cabin. So if you know you're leaving the same time Monday to Friday, you can select it that way if you want to. And then charging locations. So this thing hasn't been plugged into any location, but once it is, you'd have the flexibility of saying how fast, like either when it's going to charge up and then to what point you want it charging up. So like 0 to 100, 0 to 80, whatever the case may be. So you can set different charge locations and maximums on top of that. It's nice. This thing, full 360 camera, so you can zoom in on any spot there if you want to. You've got a forward-facing camera, front 180. If you pop yourself into reverse, that gives you either the reverse, so you've got the full 360 with the reverse, strictly reverse cam with the sensors, or the reverse 180 instead. And then you can toggle off the beeping that you get as you back up. So this button there, that's going to toggle off that beeping. So if that drives you nuts, you could get rid of it if you really wanted to. But there are so many different settings. Love it. You can do one pedal driving inside of this thing. So rather than worrying about both the brake and the accelerator, you can technically only have to worry about the accelerator. So you take your foot off and it just slows the vehicle down very rapidly. Propulsion sound plays a little sound on the outside. You can toggle this thing on into a calming screen instead. The one big thing that people they're kind of torn on, climate control settings. So they're baked right into the screen. I mean, realistically, I find it, really easy to use. So this actually doubles for climate control and then for audio as well. So as you're adjusting climate, you can easily adjust it there. But once you click off of it, it gets rid of climate, goes into your volume rocker instead. But climate control settings are baked right in. But one nice thing is that using the voice command prompt, you'd be able to not only change songs, radio stations, navigate using your voice, you can also do things like set the temperature to a certain point. So rather than fiddling with the touch screen, you do have the flexibility of pressing the voice command prompt to adjust it out instead. Heated first row seats, you can have it as an auto mode instead. Turn on the heated steering wheel. And then moving down, you've got 2 USB power points. So if you had a USB stick with MP3s, you could plug it in to listen. Inside of the Cali Route 1, you're only going to find 6 speakers available. So it doesn't have an upgraded audio system whatsoever. But I actually want to tweak out. I'm going to change out the treble and bass for a little bit. So what I'm going to do in the sound settings, I'm going to change it out so that the treble is dropped by 2 and the bass is cranked by 3. Yeah, that'll be good. So that's usually the way that I like listening to this. But when you don't have as many speakers, having it set up like that gives it pretty good audio.
Step 3, think real hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
And that's coming just out of the little microphone here. So there's no post-processing done whatsoever. That's at half volume. So regardless of the Mach E or really any vehicle that you're in, drop your treble down by 2 or 3 points, crank your bass by 3 points, and that just gives you really, really good audio.
Yeah, set your affirmations, aspirations.
It's such good audio. I love it. And then one thing, unfortunately, the screen can't do is play back video. So even if you're parked, there's entertainment sources for games and things like that, you just don't have the flexibility of using video through the screen yet. I'm hoping it comes, especially when the car's parked. I think that being able to use this to watch video just makes sense. It's just not available as of right now. This thing does have a wireless charge pad on top of that. So if your phone supports wireless charging, you can see there it's on and it's charging up a phone right now. We've got a few cup holders. And then just on the outside, you can also see tiny little storage tray just underneath. From there, you've got 2 individual buttons. This used to act as a park assist button, but right now it's only navigate to parking, unfortunately. 4-way blinkers. There's an electronic parking brake, park reverse neutral drive, and then you can drop yourself into a low gear instead if you want to. Little armrest here with a little slider, and it's got a 12-volt power point on the inside. Moving up overhead, this thing has an auto-dimming rearview mirror, all of your basic controls for your cabin lights, then little sunglasses holder, which is typical Ford styling. And then look at this. Nice panoramic roof, just full body roof, which is great, but it is unfortunately locked in place. So you don't have the flexibility of opening it up. That would be nice, but I love that glass. Solid. From there, you've got your HomeLink system. So if you've got a garage door printer at home, you can program it in. A little ticket holder on the outside and on the inside. And then this thing has a vanity mirror with lights built in, and it extends out all the way. It's blocking all of the sun that might be hitting your face, which is great. Only other thing to point out is that this thing has an assist handle driver passenger side for the first and for the second row, because you're going to need it with all the power that this thing has. Yeah, I've got the seat set up for the way that I would normally drive it. And with the seat set up this way, inside of the second row, I have a great amount of foot space, great amount of knee space. But the best part is that I've actually got functional headspace back here. Like, it's not much. With me sitting fully upright, like 1.5 inches maybe of space there. Like if I had spiky hair, it would definitely be rubbing up against the top. But at least I can sit back here, which is great. It's nice. Like if you compare that to the regular Mustang, there is 0% chance that I'm fitting in the second row. So if you need something that's functional space, this is a good option. So the seats inside of this thing, they're comfortable. They're obviously not as comfortable as the first row seats, but they're still pretty good. No heated second row seat option inside of the California Route 1 whatsoever. And it's pretty basic back here. There's a little speaker along the door. Behind the first row seats, driver passenger side, you are going to find some pockets there. And then just behind the armrest of the first row, you're going to find a few vent controls and then a USB Type-C and a USB Type-A power point. But you've also got a few cup holders in the back, some 2 individual ones built right into the seat. And then there's also all the anchor points and the tether points. So if you've got child seats, you can have front facing or rear facing. Not going to be an issue inside of this thing whatsoever. But let's take this thing out for a spin, have a little bit of fun. One thing that I just love so much about electrics is like you put your foot down and the thing just opens up and flies. It is wild. I mean, it's obviously that instant torque, but it is so good. I do have the adaptive cruise control system going right now, and I'm just on like a regular city street, so it's obviously going to be slowing me down here. The adaptive cruise obviously really beneficial on the highway, especially if you've got like a little bit of a lead foot. The Cali Route 1 is going to get you the best possible range out of any of the Mach E lineup. So it's 502 kilometer range and then 312 mile range, which is, it's wild. Like range anxiety for some people I know is definitely a thing, but with 500 kilometer range, like even if you look at wintertime when you might lose 25% of your range, at 500, you're still ringing in at like what, 375-ish kilometers worth of range there. I'm in an electric, bud. Instant torque. Guy in a Hyundai Elantra pulls up next to me. So good. Oh, that's funny. Gotta open it up here and have some fun. Oh, Cali, love it. Oh, this is good. Like, it's so good. Like having that electric, like it is, it's, oh my gosh, so nice. And that was a look at the Mustang Mach E California Route 1. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section below and let me know. More than willing to talk you through any issues that you might be having. And I did mention you can find the build link for this specific Mach E, along with the contact details for Yorkdale Ford down in the description of the video if you're looking at putting through an order for a Mach E or any other Ford or Lincoln vehicle. But if you found this one useful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and until I see you next time, take care.